Hello YouTube and welcome to my overview video for Arturia's Augmented Grand Piano. Now if you did miss my last video where I did review augmented strings, you can click here to view that video. Now what I've done as always is I've made a overview track that we can listen to, so it's going to be a cinematic track that we can listen to so we can hear that in context of a song. And then what I'll do is I'll break that down section by section, and we'll also play through some of the instruments that come with the sound library so we can see what's actually in that sound library as well. Let's get to it. Okay, so that's the demo song that I've made with the sound library. Now, first of all, I just want to say I had a lot of fun using the sound library, as I did with augmented strings as well. And one of the first things that always stands out to me with these sound libraries is the interface. Now I absolutely love the interface. I love working with them. Not only do they look great, but they're also very intuitive for you to just drag around these controls in the middle and just shape the sound that you want. I really think that that's a really good way for people who just really don't know much about music production or sound design or doing anything like that. So yeah, props to them for that one. I did actually as well spend a lot of time in this library in the advanced one, advanced tab as well, just sort of taking out some of the sounds that were layered in there that I didn't like and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a really nice interface, really easy to use, and I think even if you don't have a lot of knowledge in sort of the sound design front, I think you'll be perfectly fine obviously loading this up and just shaping the sounds to be what you want them to be. So what I'll do is I'll break this down section by section then. So we'll start off with the intro. So the intro was this. Okay, so that's the intro. So first thing I actually came up with was this one right here. So it's using the preset loosely. It's going to be hybrid, under the hybrid section called 1949 Vinyl Felt. And I really like this preset. It's really warm sounding piano. And all we're doing really is we're just playing a arpeggio on an E minor and then to a C major. literally just E, G, B, and then C, E, G. That's all we're doing with that. And I did actually change this just a slight bit, because basically what I did is I went into the advanced tab, and there's a section where there's another layer on the instrument itself called silent noise keys, and it was up quite loud for my liking, and I didn't actually realize this because I made this song when I was listening at quite low volume, and then when I've rang all the volumes up, there's just like really noise thing in the background, like white noise almost, and I just felt it was a bit too much, so went in there, just load that to -8, and that's produced this sound now, where it's still there, but it's, you know, because it is nice having it there, but just not as loud as it was in the preset itself. But that's all I've changed, and again, there's no effects on these sounds at all, they are just as they come. So yeah, very, very nice sound. Has a really, really, really nice acoustic key sound to it. It's very nice, very warm. And then the next sound I actually came up with was just a layer to that. So as you can see, that one was quite a warm sound, so I needed something to add kind of like the high bit of that in the frequency spectrum, so it was this one. Okay, so that's going to be in the hybrid section as well, and that's called Pure on Steroids as well. It does look like I have changed the preset just slightly, but I can't remember what I changed, if I'm honest with you. I think that's kind of mostly how it sounds already. But yeah, same. It's just doing the same thing, just E, G, B, E, G, B. Now, I know I must speak about this a lot in my videos, but if you're not layering, please do be layering. So this is a really important thing, because as you can see, the first one was quite a warm sound, this one's quite a thin sound, and together they create a really nice gelled sound like this. Okay, so it just fills out the spectrum a bit more, because without it, that original sound that's creating that mood in the beginning just kind of focuses on that sort of low mid range, and it just doesn't have enough to fill the frequency spectrum, in my opinion. So layering is really, really important. Okay, so then the third sound that's actually making up this intro section is going to be a pad, and again, this pad is from Augmented Grand Piano, and it's called Breath of Light underneath the pad section. So that sounds like this. Now, let's be honest, if there's a sound that gets you in your thoughts, it's that one. So that one there, I did change slightly because it didn't sound like that in the beginning. So I'll just quickly show you guys what that actually sounds like raw. So I'm going to load that up, Breath of Light. So if we just copy this across. Now this is what the one sounded like raw. Which is nice, but it kind of doesn't have the same kind of, you know, thoughtful sound that I had. And I could hear that it was in there, but it just wasn't the sound as it was as a preset. Now, this is why I really, really encourage, when you're using these libraries and augmented strings as well, really do play around with the middle buttons, because they are really easy to use. So the main thing that's really going to change your sound is the morph. So if you change the morph on this. So all you need to do is do that, and you're pretty much there for the sound that I changed it to. It's just such a nice sound. So yeah, that's the third layer and what's going on. And then there's actually a kind of really undertone one that becomes a sort of main melody in the end of the song. Okay, so that's going to be this one right here. So that's called the Wondrous. Now I'm not sure what section that's. Oh, it's under the hybrid section as well. So that's called the Wondrous, and I don't think I've changed that preset at all. So that's just what it sounded like as well. And I just think it's such a nice sound. Again, like when you combine it with this pad, it just something about it. Such a like longing, melancholy kind of, I don't know, just emotional vibe to it. I really, really like it. So that's all the layers, except from sort of stuff going on outside Augmented Piano, which is just, I think, some booms. And again, it's probably going to be Theorem that seems to make it into every single video I do. But let's just see, shall we? Oh, it's not Theorem. It's actually Strike Force doing this one. Okay, so it's the Bomber 10 Assemble. And they're just doing that basically, because the song is kind of like going after sort of I don't know what you call it, like a calm adventure type song, usually found in like survival RPG games and stuff like that. This is just kind of bringing that to say, hey, this is an adventure type song. That's all that it's doing though, is just those one notes. So again, we'll play the intro through and we'll go to the next section. Okay, so we're on to the middle section. This is where I start introducing a melody of some kind. So the first element really we should speak about is what's playing the melody. So that's going to be Dreams of Canada. And I flipping love this preset. It sounds a bit like an organ or something, inspired by an organ or something. Just a really, really cool sound. So I really like obviously when piano sound libraries, when they kind of, you know, change it to something where you go, oh, that's not expected of what you would think it would be. It just, you know, it's just something nice in there. So it's called Dreams of Canada, and I think that's under probably the hybrid section again. Yep, it's in the hybrid section. Seem to be staying in that section quite a lot in the video. But that is essentially introducing our melody. Now our melody is playing G, F sharp, G, F sharp, E, B, and then we change it on the second time round to go G, F sharp, G, A, G, E. Okay, because that's going to be the prominent melody that comes in later in the track. So I'm just introducing that in an ambient way earlier on, so that when that part comes in, it's big, it kind of sounds familiar to the ear, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's going to be playing that. And then I think there's really only one other element that's introduced to this, which is going to be Action Strikes, funny enough, not Theorem again. This is going to be the Taco Huge Ensemble, and they're just doing this. Again, all we're doing is solidifying, hey, this is an adventure type song. Okay, so we're kind of upping that kind of, we're doing something vibe. Okay, so so we move on to the next section, which is kind of like the second half of the middle section, I guess you would call it, where I do change the melody again, mainly on this instrument, Dreams of Canada again. So we are now going to be playing, I think it's G, F sharp, E, D. Yeah, that's basically the melody. You can see it there. So it's going to be G, F sharp, E, D, C, D, E, G, and then same thing basically. And what we're doing here, we're actually introducing another layer now to actually intensify that second part of the middle section, and that's actually going to be this part I think is under just acoustic grand section. Yeah, moderna. And that sounds like this. Okay, so this is probably one of my favorite presets in this library that I just love. Like, I could just play this piano forever. I did change it ever so slightly, I think, from the original sound, but again, it would have been nothing other than just moving the controls in the middle. And this is now playing a new layer on top. So we're kind of doubling up what we kind of set as the foundation. So you see in the lower one, we were playing this thing here. So what we're doing in this one, because it's a higher and brighter sound, this is to intensify and drive the track forward. We're actually playing in the left hand. So we're doing that while playing the melody, and the melody will simply be... Excuse my terrible playing. But yeah, so yeah, that's basically what it's playing. And again, it's just providing a new layer that kind of pushes the track and gives it some kind of like movement, you know, like now something's happening, you know, we're going somewhere. And to be honest, if I was to solo that with the rest of the augmented key section, from this to this. Okay, so really that Dreams of Canada cool thing that I said earlier is just literally doubling up that melody with that key, with those new keys that I've introduced. Okay, then we've got a couple of other things now which are introduced in this section, really, to just amplify that last push on that middle section before the bigger part comes in. So if we start with the first thing, which is this. So it may not sound huge, but it does add movement to the piece, and it's about the texture and about something actually going on. So yeah, that's that. And I think that's from Sequis, I'm guessing, which is another library I absolutely love. Yep, so it's from Sequis. It's Bored Blacksmith, which is really fitting for this kind of track. So then we've got this. Literally just basses, you know, from Cinematic Studio strings. It's just the basses, just basically carrying the low end of the track. And then we've got, I think it's going to be cellos. Yeah, so cellos are also joining those double basses as well, just to do the exact same thing above. And then we've got a bit of amplification on this percussion. again, just upping the intensity from where we were at, basically just providing a bit more of a you know, let's go do something. And then we've got this as well. Just providing accents, basically. And that's it, really. We just basically evolved the percussion just a little bit, just to push the track a little bit. And then we've also introduced that piano, which is doing kind of another movement as well. So, you know, it just sounds like the track's moving forward. So I'll just play through that section one more time and we'll move on to the last section of the song. So we move on to the final section of the song. Now this is really where the melody comes into full swing, and then we've also got the piano going nuts. Now this is my favorite part of the song because I got to play a piano. Like a lot of the times when you do play piano or key sound libraries, you kind of you know, tend to use them as more of an effect, like you tend to create a mood with them or something like that. Now with this library, I actually wanted to create something where the piano is the main thing that's driving the track forward, and in this last section I've just gone all out with the melody of the piano. So I'm going to talk about that part first, right? So if we just solo this piano, again it's the same one that was playing this melody before. So it's the moderner preset under Acoustic Grand, okay? And this last bit sounds like this. And if we look at the MIDI, you can see that it kind of goes up and down and up and down, and it's really cool. Okay, so that's what that's doing. It's such a nice sound, and it's been so long since I've actually, you know, it kind of reminds me of when I first started playing piano, and I used to just sit there and just play over the thing, even though I didn't know what I was playing. And this kind of takes me back to those days where you can just focus on the piano playing and playing like an actual piano rather than just using it as an effect or a mood or something like that. So really, really, really cool. And when you combine that with the elements I had here before, so that's just Augmented Grand Piano there. And then what I did is I introduced something with the bass to really show off like kind of the low end this library can do as well. So it's literally doing what those cellos and basses were doing in the previous section, but it comes in with a bit more of a percussive sound due to it being a piano. So that's actually going to be this preset. So it's going to be called Wistful Scene. Now let's see what section that's under. Under bass? Nope. 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 I think it's going to be under this keys section. Okay, it's somewhere in there. It's somewhere in there. Oh, it's under percussive. It's under percussive. Right, okay. So this is a really, really cool kind of sound to get the bass percussiveness out, right? So it's like this. And of course, when you combine the bass elements all together, so if I just find where those cellos and the bass are. See how the piano's kind of providing that kind of top layer where it's really, really percussive. It just adds a nice hardness to the end of this low end on the end section. Okay, so that's going to be that. And then everything else just doing the same thing. I haven't really changed anything in regards to that. And then what we do introduce is just some elements outside Augmented Grand Piano, and that's going to be string melody. Now, if you remember, this is the same melody that I did trying to reintroduce early in the song with Augmented Grand Piano. So I basically just returned to that melody after having a break from it for one bar, if that makes sense. So I've come in harder with that melody. So we've got these strings, and it's just cinematic studio strings, I'm guessing. Yep, so we've got first violins just playing a legato line. And then, what have we got here? Right, so that's just the cellos doing the exact same thing as the previous part. Then we're introducing, I think this is a choir. Yeah, it's just choir essentials from Strezov. Strezov, I think is how you say it. So again, all we're doing, I do this quite a lot in melodies towards the end of the songs, to be honest. All we're doing really is moving down the scale. So again, we start with a G. And then for the second half of it, you just move back down the scale to land back on E to finish the phrase. So you go dun 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 da da da, and we're back. And then you just repeat it. So that's what they're doing, which is basically just doubling with the violins. And then what we've got here, so that's doing the same. And in this part, I think, is another percussive layer that I've added in to up the intensity one step further. Yep, so it's from Groff. It's just the ensemble's percussion, and they're doing this. That's it. That's all they're doing. And then we've got the low brass, I believe. Yeah. Because what's a big section of a song without low brass being there? And then we've got the horns just doubling the choir and the violins. Which I think, again, is from Cine Brass. Rarely use anything else, to be honest. Yep, so 6-horn true legato. So that's everything that's actually going on in this part of the song. So again, I'll play that last section back for you now before we move on to the outro. So we come to the outro here. All we've done is just basically retract on all the layers that we've done and just simplified the whole thing. So we've got the pad from the beginning. We've taken out the warm piano and just left the high one to make it sound a lot thinner. It adds more impact when it all drops out, so it sounds thinner. And then we've got... Again, that piano, which is my absolute favorite preset in here, called Moderna. Kind of emphasizing that melody. If you remember, I was talking about in the beginning of the song where it's sort of a background melody in the beginning with an ambient sound, and then it become a really prominent one. After I made this song, I could not stop hearing that dum dum dum. I kept having to hum it to myself. But yeah, it was that's basically the song. That's the whole song broken down for you. I mean, really it's just about a song that starts out with a very, very simple piano line and then it evolving to this really, really epic and beautiful piano, really, overall. So let's actually go over some of the presets that are actually coming with this so we can actually see what kind of sounds actually come in there. So let's just play the first thing that come up. So it's Kairos. Nice sound. Very, very nice sound from the beginning. We'll go through a couple of the acoustic grand ones now. Needs more sustain pedal. Right. Cool. Alone in the Room. What a way to play the song. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Right, edgy stage piano. So this is one of the ones where I'm talking about you may need to go into the advanced tab to actually turn off some of that hissing that's in the background. So it's got kind of like a harsh one. I'm not sure, maybe you would want it, maybe you wouldn't, but I did find that was the case with some of the sounds, and when you're making it in low volume you don't realize that those are actually in the background. So if you don't want them, don't fret, you can just pop into the advanced tab and you can go through what's layered in there and just turn things off that you don't want by clicking this button right here. So let's see if we can find that. It might be an effect. There we go. It was the bit crusher. Really nice sound. I really have to stress, like, you know, when you play around with the sound library, do not fret to run into the advanced tab and just play around with stuff. They have a really cool amount of effects in here that you can use. They've got an arpeggiator, they've got layers as well that you can actually click this button right here and you can go ahead and change it to a different sound entirely and just try and create your own. So I really must stress that if you really like creating sounds and you're really after a unique sound, you have a sound in your head you want to try and create, go into the advanced tab and try and do it, because you know you've got the freedom to. But yeah, so that's edgy stage piano. Let's go through some of the, I didn't really use the upright ones, which, to be honest, with the acoustic grand ones, they were very warm and very nice, and I kind of expected that from the acoustic upright, or getting a really old one, but to be honest, they kind of sound a bit bright. it's a bit, yeah. There's only 3 as well. There's only 3 presets, so. And that's it. That's the presets in acoustic upright. I mean, probably what I would say is I wish there was a bit more attention on the acoustic uprights in the sound library, because I love the acoustic upright sound, like those old pianos you see in your grandma's house and stuff like that, you know, where they, you know, they're just sitting in the corner, those really old sounds. I really wish there would be some of that in here. I mean, don't get me wrong, they got some warm sounds in here that are really nice, but I feel like I wish there was a bit more attention to the upright section, but that's the way it goes. So I think they spent a lot of time doing what kind of the premise of the library is, which is kind of hybriding the sounds. So we'll move on to the hybrid category now. So this one here is the one I used in the song. Which is, again, one of my favorite presets. Really nice. I won't play the whole thing just in case of copyright, but yeah, so it's a really, really nice sound. I actually love this sound. I could tell I would come back to it many times for scoring, even trailer stuff. It's just such a nice, soft piano. Really nice. So yeah, I would just bear in mind on that one, there is a, I think I spoke about this earlier, but there is that silent noise keys thing, which, if you listen for it, is quite loud. So if it's too loud for you, just go into the advanced tab and just lower the volume here, so that it's more of a background thing. Okay, so then we've got digital harp piano. Whoa. Abdict. Was it Abdict? Yeah, Abdict. Who remembers Dead Island, man? I love that game so much. Yeah, so that was from the trailer. Very nice preset, this one. I like this one. Very nice ambience. Very nice. Pick a couple of random ones. Yeah, very nice, very nice. Another random one. Let's go towards the end. Impure. Okay, let's move on to the percussive section. You know what we're doing. Now, when I was browsing the percussive section, I'm not going to lie, this preset stood out to me. I really like this one. It's sort of percussive, but in a nice way melodic at the same time. So yeah, I really like it. Okay, let's move on to the bass section. Encountered a glitch. Alright, okay. Okay. Is it weird I can see this like in some sort of battle scene? Just imagine a really... Yeah, I can hear something. I'm gonna be honest, with the bass section in this sound library, I didn't really find as easy as like when I was using augmented strings. I found some things to fill the low end quite nicely with Augmented Grand Piano. I guess that's a bit more difficult with keys, but I didn't really find anything that I really liked in the bass section. Even in my demo song, I ended up using Wistful Scene in the percussive section as my bass. So yeah, just worth noting the bass section's not the strongest, but I guess it's nice to have considering it's a keys library anyway. So we'll move on to the electric piano. a bit dark. Very dark. Okay, let's move on to the key section. This one's also a big section in here. '80s heartbreak. This one reminds me of something like you would find in Omnisphere or something like that. Very, very similar to a sound in Omnisphere. I can't remember which one, but yeah. Okay. Whoa, bless me. Kind of like this one. It's a bit 80s-y. Whoa. Oh, I like this one. Nice. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go into the lead section. Again, with a piano, I guess you're not really expecting like leads or anything like that, but nice for them to try and put it in there. But again, probably not a section I would touch personally too much, but Okay, move on to, there's only one organ as well. And to be honest, the sound earlier that I said sounds like it was based off of an organ. I think does the organ sound better than the actual organ sound. So, yeah. Okay, pads. Drop it higher. Oh, touches heartstrings. Oh my god, I gotta start a song like this. Just listen to that. Oh my god, it's so nice. Although I'm not sure what. I don't like that sound in the background. I think it's noise. Let's get rid of that noise. I think it's that. Right. Oh my god, tell me that isn't such a nice sound, man. I love these little nuggets that you find in sound libraries. So nice. I'm gonna remember that one. Ammonium. Guarantee I'm gonna use that in a track. So getting their pants sounding quite nice, quite epic sounding. Oh, very dark. Okay, then we've got a sequence section. I didn't use any of the sequence section, to be honest with you. Again, with the strings part in Augmented Strings, I used quite a lot of the sequence section just because a lot of it was kind of rhythmic and stuff. But with the keys, I found that they were very melodic. So when they're very melodic, if you're got your own melodies and rhythms going on within the key section, it's kind of hard to use those. But I guess if you start your track with one of these, maybe it's a bit easier. I mean, this one's rhythmic. I mean, props to the sound design, I gotta say, but yeah. Bit jazzy. I'm not sure what this one makes me feel. Okay. Okay. I think the sequence sections is just a very specific purpose. I think there's definitely parts you can use, don't get me wrong, but very, very specific to purpose and niche of what you're doing. So yeah, and again, I didn't touch the sound effects section as I'm not really sure what's in this. Oh, it's kind of freaky. I like that. It sounds like something's about to happen there. Okay. So that concludes my overview video for Augmented Grand Piano. Now, should you go out and buy this library? I don't know, that's completely up to you, but what I found is I really like the hybrid key section, the grand piano section, and then also the pads. I think they're done really, really well. Now, one area I feel like was a bit missed was the upright pianos. I really wish they spent a bit more time there and actually gave you some upright pianos to play around with as well, but then it is called Augmented Grand Piano for a reason, isn't it? So I didn't run into any CPU problems with this one as well, like I did with Augmented String, so that's also a plus. But hopefully I've gave you guys a good idea of what you can expect from the sound library, and if you did like this video, please do hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.